Good evening, guys. So today the topic for today is we'll start with MEPC. We'll do today what is in 81, the main things in that 80 and 70. So first of all, before we start that, let us see what is MEPC. What is MEPC? When you see the structure of IMO, you will see MEPC is a committee. Okay, it is one of the main committees of IMO. There are total 5 committees. I hope you know that. One is MSC, MEPC, then legal committee, then we have a technical committee,
Facilitation.
technical and facilitation. Very good. So in here, if you see, this MSC deals all with the safety matters, like all solars, then coal rigs, everything comes in this. The safety related. All the conventions are taken care by MSC. MEPC handles all the pollution prevention. It is not just limited to MARPOL. It will also talk about Hong Kong, then blast water, AFS. Okay. Legal, it's about legal matters, technical matters, and facilitation. We'll have the FAL convention in this. We'll have a FAL convention in this. Okay. This is about the paperwork. Okay. I hope you got an idea. Now, what we do, generally these MEPC, they keep on doing sessions. Like regularly on regular basis, like every year, they will meet. Like it is, they set a target of around once every year, but it can also be more than one. Okay, it can be 2 times also in a year. So the latest MEPC meeting which has happened is MEPC 81, and the latest MSC meeting which has happened now is MSC 107. Okay, so for today we will only see the MEPC meeting. Okay, so we'll start first with the MEPC 81. Fine. Okay, now we'll start with the MEPC 81. First of all, as we start with MEPC 81, like just a brief intro in this. In this, we will see like when this MEPC meeting occurred. Okay, when this meeting actually happened. The MEPC 81, it occurred from, it's not required, but still, from March 18 to March 22, 2024. It occurred on March month. Okay, this year only. So now we will see the main things in this. Okay, if you see the complete document, it is a very big document, but you're not supposed to remember everything. You have to only see the highlighted part which I've shown. Now there's a proposal in this. Some important things we will see. First of all, this is something which I have not told you before. So there's a new proposal for new chapter 5 in Annex 6. There's a new proposal of chapter 5. We have seen only chapter 4 until now, like that for carbon intensity and all. Okay. So in this case, what we have seen, we have a new chapter in this, which is your regulation for IMO net zero framework. Like how will you reduce the GHG emissions? The chapter name is regulations for net zero IMO framework. Okay, this is a new chapter just coming. So it will have more details, like how you will go for net zero ultimately. Okay, you will use some like let's say other alternative fuels. You will use some other methods. Okay, now what things we can have? Like there are something like reward and all. Okay, reward to promote the net zero fuels. So that is also in the chapter 5 of Annex 6. It will come. It is a proposal. Okay, it is just a proposal as of now. Okay, just you remember, a new chapter 5 will come. Okay, this is already proposed. Okay. Now on top of that, if I show you the file also, 31. If you download. Okay, on top of that, I've told you there is an amendment in your ballast water convention also, in which there's a new definition included for your ballast water management. Ballast water certificate. So there's a new amendment for that. I've told you that, you know? And provisions have been given. Okay, provisions have been given for same. Like you can include that. You can include that in the ballast water convention. Electronic certificate is allowed. I'm not sure why it is not loading. Guys, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I'll keep writing. Otherwise. And you can see my screen also? All good in that? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's not good. Anyway, I'll just try to play with this. I will download in the back. Okay. Then another important point you can tell here is about the amendment to I'll let it to, we can say, low flash point. What is the low flash point fuel? What is the numerical value for low flash point fuel? Yes. What is low flash point fuel?
Fuel which is having flash point less than 50.
Very good. Okay. Any fuel which is having flash point less than 60 degrees Celsius. Okay. So in this definition of gas fuel is included. So what is gas fuel? That is included in the definitions. Okay. And then they say, I hope you remember the in-use sample. I hope you remember the in-use sample.
Yes.
Okay. The in-use sampling points are not required for low flash point fuels. Okay, for low flash point, like we had for HFO and other oils. Okay, liquid. In that case, we needed this in-use sample, but that will be not required for your gas jet fuel. Is it okay? Understood? This is what they're trying to say here. Then next one here is about the IMO DCS. Okay, like what data we need to give additionally. Next is related to your IMO DCS. So when I told you about the UMRV and the IMO DCS, I told you some differences. That in your UMRV we saw the categorization is also done based on the machinery. Sorry, whether the ship is in the port or whether the ship is in the sea. That also we saw that. You know? In this case, what we need in IMO DCS, we need fuel consumption. We need fuel consumption. Okay, per consumer. Like you have to tell how much is the consumption for our main engine separate, auxiliary engine separate, okay, boiler separate. The fuel consumption you have to include in this. Okay, only the fuel consumption. Okay. Then how much amount of shore power is supplied? How much amount of shore power is supplied? That also you need to submit. Fine. And fuel consumption per consumer when the ship is not underway. Okay, when the ship is not underway. Fuel consumption for consumer when ship is not underway. Guys, can you read my handwriting? Are you
Yes,
able to
sir.
read it?
Yes, sir.
So this is one of the other amendments. Then we have here the main one which I told you, the important one. amendment to which convention? Ballast water management convention. So what is the amendment here? Definition of your electronic record book. Okay, sorry, it was electronic record book has been put. Definition of electronic record book is included. Understood? Then this was in the A1. Okay, this was in the A1 because A1 is the definitions. And then we had here B2. B1 is your ballast water management plan. B2 is your ballast water record book. Okay, B2 is your ballast water record. Saying B2, what they say? That electronic record book can be your electronic form also. Okay, electronic record book can be also electronic. Ballast water record book is allowed in electronic form also. Ballast water record book is allowed in electronic form also. Understood? But entries are to be made same like the normal record book that have to. Another important regulation is about the mandatory reporting of the loss of containers. Okay.
So this amendment to BWM convention has also occurred in MEPC 81.
This is in 81 only.
81.
See, what I told you, MEPC covers all the pollution related. So, ballast water convention is pollution related. MEPC does not just deals with the MARPOS. It deals with any convention which is related to pollution. Okay. Understand? Then amendments with respect to loss of containers. Those are said on containers. Reporting. So there are two instances here. First case, like let's say when the container loss is from your own ship. Then loss of container from own ship. From my own ship. Then in that case, what they say? That we should report. Suppose, okay, now you just tell me, suppose I have lost the container from my own ship. Whom I need to report? The container is floating in the water. Whom I will report? Think logically. Whom I will report?
Company,
The nearest coast guard.
company.
Nearby ships in vicinity, yes or no? Important. When your steering gear fails, let us say you are in the channel. When the steering gear fails, will you inform company first or nearby ships? First
Nearby ships.
Huh? Okay. Because they are under immediate threat. Then you can tell the flag state. Flag has to be told. And your nearest coastal state. Okay. So the duty of whom? It is a duty of the master to report that. It is a duty of the master. He should do that. Okay. And suppose if the loss is made from your other ship and you have just seen that. Okay. You have just seen that. Second case is you saw the containers or you sighted the containers in the sea. In that case, whom you will report? Sighted the container. Whom will report now? Nearby ships shall we report or no? Yes, my friends. Shall we report the nearby ships? Nearby ships in vicinity. And your coastal state. This we will do. So this is the latest amendment with respect to our containers. Okay. So this was given in your, where it is given? It is given in the SOLAS chapter 5. Okay, it is also included in the SOLAS chapter 5. Okay, because when the containers are floating, you have to report that. It is also given in the SOLAS. Okay. Understood? Fine, guys. So this is the summary of your MEPC 81. Okay, understood? I'll move on to your MEPC 80. 81 does not have much of content, to be honest. The important one are these two. Tell me.
So could you please explain this? Shore power is supplied at that point.
Okay. What we will do? Suppose the ship is in the port. Okay. Now what we can do? I hope you are aware of cold ironing. I hope you are aware of cold ironing electrical. Have you heard of this term? Abhilash? No. Okay. See, I'll tell you what is cold ironing. When the vessel is like in the port, then we'll switch off the generators and we'll take supply from the shore. That is called as cold ironing. Why the name is cold ironing? Because previously we had cold fire boilers, right? So now when the coal is not burning, the boiler is not like hot, it is cold now. So that is how the name became cold ironing. Okay.
Oh.
So when you are getting that electrical supply from the shore, they should tell how much kilowatt hour you have got. Okay, that also need to be told. Okay, because you'll not be running your generators in the shore. You'll be taking the shore supply. Okay.
So all these points are sub points of this IMO disease.
Yes, you need to add this extra information when you want to do the report.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether you have downloaded or not. Not. Starting on downloading. Okay, I should not download everything. But this file I have put in the app. Okay, you can just watch that.
Okay.
So now we'll move on with the MEPC 80. We have just seen 81, MEPC 80. MEPC 80 has also some important points. Okay, the biggest one is here about the GHG strategy. That is the biggest point here. The most important point you have to tell here is about the IMO 2023 revised GHG strategy. This is the biggest point you have to tell, most important. And this MEPC meeting happened from July, I think 3 to 7 in the year of 2023. Okay, that was the time when this meeting happened. Okay. First point you have to tell about the IMO GHG strategy. I hope you remember what is IMO GHG strategy. I told you main 3 points in that. Yes, when we did the Annex 6 introduction, remember? So what we wanted here, that the CO2 emissions to reduce by how much? Reduce by how much?
40% by 2030.
40% by
2030.
Then what else? Uptake of zero or net zero fuel. Right?
Yes, sir. Minimum 5% and 10% for the net zero fuel.
Zero or near zero fuels. I told you 2 words in that. Minimum 5%, trying for or striving for 10%. Right? Okay. At least 5% I will do for sure. Okay, and I will strive for striving for 10%. By which year? By 2030. Okay. Fine. Now this is I told about CO2. Please do not confuse between CO2 and GHG, which I'm going to tell now. This is about CO2. Now total GHG emissions. The total GHG emissions to reduce by at least 20%. To reduce by at least 20% and striving for 30%. By which year? 26. Okay, then total GHG emissions to reduce by at least 70%. By which year?
2050, sir.
70%. 2050
2050.
we need a net zero, right?
2040.
Driving for 80. So I hope you remember when I told you in the lecture. Previously in the old strategy, we had target for 2030 and directly 2050. There is nothing in between. But in the revised strategy, we have also included a intermediate checkpoint that is of 2040. That is one thing. They have included a intermediate checkpoint. And we will reach net zero by 2050. Reach net zero by 2050. So that is our target. This is a revised IMO GHG strategy. CO2, GHG, and the alternative fuels, the things you are going to tell about. Any doubt in this, please ask me. Yes. So I told you for greenhouse gases, 2030, one is a minimum and one is a striving for. When I take GHG by 2030, GHG year 2030, minimum is how much? 20%. Trying for 30%. 2040, minimum 70%. Striving for 80%. And by 2050, net zero. We should bring it zero emissions. When I talk about CO2, by 2040, we'll make it around 30. Sorry, by 40%. Okay, for CO2 it is 40%. Then the alternative fuels or the alternative or zero fuels by 2030, minimum 5%, striving for 10%. So these points you can remember. Okay, understood? Any doubt in this? Please ask me. Surprise, right? Is not downloading. Okay. So have you understood this part? Any doubt in this? Shall we proceed then? I'll take this airdrop by my phone. I will show you what document I am referring to. This is the one. I have highlighted the main points. Okay, do not need to go through the complete document. So it is like this arranged. You see, 2023 strategy. This is what I told. CO2 40%, uptake 0, 5%, 10%, net zero close to 2050. And here 2 points: 20%, 30%, 70%, 80%. Is it okay? Yes or no, my friends? Now next one, directly move on to the next highlighted part. Okay. So now there is a provision that bunker delivery notes, okay, they're also acceptable in the electronic form. They are also acceptable in the electronic form, but they should be made in such a way that they can be protected from edits, and authentication shall be possible by verification methods such as date and timestamp. So you can say electronic or digital form of VDN is also accepted now. Okay, understood? This you can tell. Electronic form of BDN is also accepted. Then on top of that, next one. Yes,
So this is come under MEPC 80.
it is 80 now. We are in 80 now. BDN is also acceptable. Okay. So digital BDN is also acceptable now in the guidelines. Okay, that is what it is. Like in the market. The next important point is about this, about the blast water convention. Okay, so as I've told you, initially blast water record book, it did not had any coding system. Now it has changed. We have seen this before, but still, you see, these changes are intended to form the form of this record book comparable to that of the ORB. Okay, so we'll have now the coding system, the lettering system in your blast water record. That is A to H. Started from 1st February 2025. So this next one is about ballast water management convention. What they say here? Format of ballast water record book is made comparable to your ORB. So what we say here? We are using lettering in UW. Okay. The codes are from A to H. Okay, have you understood this one? Fine. In the BWM convention? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So we've seen for blast water convention. The next one is about your PSSA, which is the latest PSSA which you have seen in the class also. Latest amendment for PSSA.
Mediterranean.
This what was that? North Western Mediterranean Sea. See, as PSSA. For what thing it is designated PSSA? For your cetaceans, basically the whales. Okay, for to protect the whales from these cetaceans are whales. Okay, these are basically whales from risk of ship collision and ship collision, pollution, all. Okay. So in this, what we have to do? We have to navigate at a slower speed. We have to navigate at a slower speed. So what actions to be taken? What is the speed limit given? Between 10 to 13 knots. Okay. Then keep distance from we can say whales when sighted. So you have to ultra work person when sighted. Okay. And we should broadcast on VHF. Tell others also. We should broadcast on VHF regarding sighting of whales. Okay. The last one, but not the least, if in any case you collide with the whales, you have to inform the IWC, International Whaling Commission. International Whaling. Okay, I hope you are able to read it. This is the other amendment of MEPC 8. Fine. Any doubt in this, please? Then other thing was the most important one, HKC convention. Convention enters into force. Criteria is met. So basically, Bangladesh and Liberia did the ratification. After that, it has fulfilled the criteria after Bangladesh and Liberia signed. So it is coming into force from which date? It happened in 26th of June 2023. There's a grace period of 2 years. It will come into force on 26th of June 2025. The convention will come into force. Okay. HKC convention. Fine. How it met? Last signed by Bangladesh and Liberia. But this is the other one. Here MEPC 81. Right? So this is all in the MEPC 81. Sorry, 80. This is the MEPC 80. Now coming on to MEPC 81. Sorry, 79. So it has a lot of content. MEPC 79 has a lot of content which is important for us. MEPC 81 occurred on December. It was 12 to 16 in the year 2020. So minimum one meeting you should have every year, but it can be more also, depending on the requirement. It can be more also. Right? So in this case, what are the major amendments? First one, we will always remember the Annex 6 first. What is the amendment of Annex 6? I missed still now, which you have done already in the classes. Yes, any amendment which you have missed, which are not written until now, and you know that I've taught that in the class, comes here. Yes, anybody? Deepak, Mr. Amit, Ankit, when we did the Annex 6 class, what are the amendments in Annex 6?
Sir, Amendment 6 latest BDN SOX IMO DGS.
What is in the BDN?
BDN in a flashpoint, sir.
Mandatory information of flashpoint in BDN. Okay, good. Then what else?
SOX Mediterranean Sea.
Yes, the Mediterranean Sea has been designated the emission control area in the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Is designated as a SOX emission control. So these are the two major amendments. They are both coming into force from 1st May 2024. Means they have already come into force now. So they have already come into force. They both are coming into force from 1st May 2020. Now, one thing more I have told you in the class.
I am more DCS, sir.
What was that?
EXI,
EXI,
E- EDI, and CIS.
Of EXI, EDI, CI also to be reported. Okay. That we have seen yesterday. Before that. Sure. These are the main things related to your what we say as Annex 6. Okay, this you can tell in the exam also. Then what happened in Annex 5? Yes, anything else you want to say, Amit? I think you're saying something.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the latest amendment in Annex 5? Requirement of garbage record book. Okay, it has been brought down. To ships of 100 GT and above. Previously it was 400 GT and above. From around 400 GT. Okay, so it has been brought down. Same, this will also enter on 1st May. It entered already. Okay. These all amendments which I have shown you of 79, they are all for May 2024. This also May 2024. Right? So these are the main things in your MEPC meetings. Okay, so this is a summary of your MEPC, we can say 81, 80, and 79. The main things which you can say. Okay, Abhilash, like I think Mayank was asking this point. Not sure whether Mayank is there. Mayank, are you there? No, Mayank is not. Anyway. Okay, so I've covered all that in brief. Fine. I'll stop this recording.